Why is America so obsessed with the Civil War and slavery? You really have to be real insecure to keep focusing on a time in history where you had an 80/20ths population advantage. Think about going to a football game, and you see 8 people against 2 people. The 8 people win the game, but yet they keep talking about this same game over and over like the game was fair. There was an 80/20ths population advantage between white people and black people, which is the only reason why slavery lasted for so long. Look at any pictures showing white people disciplining slaves. Look at how many white people there were compared to the slaves. There has always been an unfair advantage during slavery. It's sad to say that slavery really represents the uneducated whites once again being taken advantage of by the elite. Prior to 1676, before the term white had even been invented, whites and blacks were living amongst each other just fine. During this time, the South was just as productive as the North. Anytime a person is constantly talking about their heritage and constantly pointing back to slavery and the Civil War, that person is ignorant. That person is actually celebrating being taken advantage of by the elite. When you want to talk about slavery, the most important thing that you can do is understand why it ended. Slavery didn't end because whites felt morally wrong about slavery. Slavery didn't end because of Abraham Lincoln, it ended because of a book. There is a book that will give all Americans the solutions to our current problems that we are now facing. Ironically, this is the same book that really ended slavery and started the Civil War. All Americans need to read The Impending Crisis of the South, written by Hilton Helper in 1857. In this book, he didn't focus on the morality of slavery. He just focused on the performance between the northern states, which were free, and the southern slave states. And once you compared the performance of both groups, what he realized is that the northern states were outperforming the slave states 3-1. This performance gap only happened after they invented the word white after 1676. Before that time, all the states were performing at almost the same rate. The only people that were benefiting from slavery were an oligarchy of people. The white people who did not have slaves nor land were like second-class slaves themselves. This book is very important because as these insecure people with no skills and nothing to offer on a global market want to push the narrative of their heritage, they must realize that they were doing worse during slavery than they are now. The same oligarchy that controlled the South is the same oligarchy that is trying to take over our government right now. It must be stopped, and this book clearly shows what happens when it is not stopped. There's no coincidence that most of the states that are the welfare states are also the same states where the people want to focus on this part of history. These same people, they want to continue to push their heritage in which they had an 80/20ths population advantage. That's the equivalent of a grown man beating up on a child. Black people only made up 20% of the US population at the height. Today, black people make up only 13% of the population. If the population would have been 50/50ths during slavery, do you really think slavery would have lasted for so long? If you are dominant and superior, you don't have to use unfair advantages to win. You can just win fair and square. But if you have to lie and cheat to win, that doesn't make you superior, it makes you less. We have to go back to before 1676 where you are strictly judged by your output and character and nothing else. Anytime we have to talk about race, it gives the top 10% the advantage, which is reason why you see this current administration try to keep talking about it. All Confederate monuments should be removed. They represent the elites taking advantage of uneducated whites. Who wants to be reminded of that?